Good afternoon, all. Thank you for being the early risers, or you know, getting here nice and early to normally to avoid the rain on the outside or to get a seat at the front. So please make yourselves comfortable. It is lunchtime, so please do feel free to have your lunch. Yeah, you drink or your smoothies, whatever you have for your lunches. We appreciate some people's circumstance situation not suitable to have camera on, but if we can see some friendly faces, that'll be nice. We can see some people we've seen before. Hi, Helen and Fran. What would be useful is this is the kind of the coffee sandwich chatty bit. If you just go into the chat and maybe say where you base your organization, what you're hoping to get out today, where you're located, etc. So we just get to know a few people in the room, and I'll call you out to what you've put. If you can phonetically spell your name, then that will help me be a bit more accurate. That'd be fantastic. We will be starting 12:30 sharp. So thank you all for joining. I know people are still coming through the virtual doors. It is lunchtime. Please feel free to have your lunch and your drinks. It's lovely if people can have cameras on, but we do appreciate it's not appropriate or suitable for everyone. The good news is we've got our expert speakers today, Samuel and Neetu from the NHS and Amey, and we'll introduce them a bit later. In the meantime, if you can introduce yourselves in the chat, your location, your organization, maybe your role, what you're hoping to get from today's event, that'll be fantastic. So we're expecting well in excess of 200 to attend today, so it's great. So obviously all those that are going to be late are going to have to stand at the back, aren't they? They won't get the seats at the front like yourselves. So yeah, anyone put anything in the chat? No introduction in the chat yet. But thank you for being here nice and early. Oh, we've got names coming through. So we've got Helen from Amey. Okay, got supporter for Neetu, project manager working in Wales. So can we say this is an international event now? We've got Sharon Lee from Ipswich, ISCRE, Suffolk Council for Racial Equality. Lovely to have you here, Sharon. We've got Liz Coates, Sheffield City Council. Welcome, Liz. We've got Noel. Apologies if I'm pronouncing this incorrectly. Director at EDI lead at Lambeth Council. So a few councils here. Got Tricia from GSK, DEI manager. Lovely to have you here, Tricia. And we've got Katie Gilligan from Whistle, part of the EDI team. Shanice Mirali, hopefully I'm saying that correctly. I apologize if I'm incorrect. HR, I'm going to struggle with the next one. Is it Foot Asylum? HR Foot Asylum, thank you. Thanks for the clap. Jenny Riley, CEO, 125 charity in Bristol. And we've got another person from Sheffield, Freya, who's a manager in the Environment Agency. Got another person from Sheffield, Fiona Longley. So obviously tickets were going cheap in Sheffield. Hi, Daniel. I work as a performance and equalities officer within Greenwich Council. Love to have you here. And Julia Preston, CEO of GIPSIL, or is it GIPSIL in Leeds? So quite a few from Yorkshire. So I think Yorkshire's winning here. And Tahira Iqbal, Principal Cohesion Officer, Calderdale. Is it called? Yeah, Calderdale Council. So thank you all. And we've got Yasmin, EDI, Data Analyst at Oxford Brookes University. So I'm conscious of time, and we've got so much to pack in, and we want to make it as interactive for you to do as you can. I've got one last one here, so I'll do it. Is Jane Bequeen. Thank you, Royal College of Midwives, Head of Equality, Diversion, Inclusion UK wide. Brilliant, thank you. So thank you all for that, and still introduce them. So what we'll do is we'll kick it off, and then go through things as people keep coming through the door. And as I said, like, lovely to see some faces if you can have your cameras on, but not if it's not suitable or appropriate. And again, do have your lunches and everything like that. And I will mention if anyone's got spinach in their teeth when we take a photo later. Okay, so this is the Race Network Leads and Future Leads 2023 series, and it was created because the community asked for it, basically, and we think it'll make a real difference. Today's theme is a very key one that you've all asked for, and it's the power of leaders in driving real change for race equality, the power of leaders. We've got Raj Tulsiani, CEO of Green Park and co-founder and chair of Race Equality Matters, and myself, co-founder and also founder of the collaboratory. So we'll be, Raj will hopefully join us a bit later. To help maximize engagement and to facilitate learning from each other, it will be an interactive and collaborative event. We appreciate some people aren't comfortable. We'll explain later how you can get involved or not involved during the event. Okay. We're delighted to see the numbers growing. We are expecting 250 plus organizations today from over 200 locations across the UK and beyond, ranging from Aberdeen to Andover, Bristol to Birmingham, Cardiff to Copenhagen, and Ipswich to Ibiza. So someone's joining us on their holiday, which is great. Next slide, please. We also want to salute the community and all those working hard on East and Southeast Asian Heritage Month, or ESEA. We hear in many organizations, ESEA colleagues can often be forgotten about and feel underrepresented and also without a voice. So going forward, we're also looking to help amplify their voice. This year's theme is Roots, an exploration of cultural identity and belonging. And as you can see there, is to delve into the narratives of family journeys and stories. And we've read some really interesting ones on social media, celebrating the rich tapestry of experiences that contribute to diverse and vibrant heritage. So we wish you all, those getting involved in it, an impactful month. Next slide. Before we start, a bit of housekeeping. As you know, we try to make our events more accessible with our limited resource and capacity. So hence when registering, we do ask for any accessible arrangements we can help offer support with, and we will learn. We do try our best. This includes closed captioning, which has been enabled for the session. We've also been recommended a solution for the virtual breakout rooms. You'll find a link in the chat and we'll include it later. This event is being recorded. The breakout sessions won't be recorded. So this will be made available for you to access later, along with the slides later in the month. I know it can be overwhelming. I know I talk fast, so you can watch or listen to it later. Your sound will be auto-disabled, so we don't get distracted by background noises. So please do share ideas and questions in the chat, and we'll do our best to respond. Obviously, your sound will be unmuted when you go into the breakout sessions. When you come out of the breakout sessions, the chat will be extremely busy. So a heads up in case you need to switch off any accessible tools that you might be utilizing, so you're not overwhelmed by hundreds of pings. We need your help to spread the word. So please do tweet and post social media content during and after the event to help us grow our reach and ultimately the community of change makers to join you and us to make a great impact on tackling race inequality. Next slide, please. So the agenda over this next action-packed hour and a quarter, you'll hear from expert speakers, have the opportunity to take part in polls and join our State of the Nation, exchange and discuss ideas, which is really important. We also want your help in shaping a Race Equality Week event idea we have, which has a focus on leadership, and we look to finish at 1:45. The aim today is for you all to leave with 50 plus ideas to support your work in tackling race inequality. We will collate all this and share this to you within a few weeks in our insights and ideas. So you'll exclusively get it because you spent the time with us today. Next slide, please. There are many new people joining us today. So for those, a very big welcome and hello again for those that haven't. But a quick overview. We exist to enable impactful change by providing free tools, support and resources for race networks, race leaders and other change makers like you in organizations across the UK and, as we can see, abroad. So far, we designed and co-created 6 impactful solutions in collaboration with those with lived experience of racial inequality. And there's more in development, which we'll share next week. As you can see here, the annual Race Equality Week, it's always the first Monday week in February. So it should be in your diaries. You can have it in 29.99. You can put it in your diary now. Tea Break, co-created with Network Rail's Cultural Fusion Network and Mental Health First Aid England, both who are trailblazers. And it's a framework for organization-wide theme discussion to hear the honest voices and feelings of your colleagues. It's fantastic for those that have run it. Then the Big Promise, which is all about moving just away from words, but turning words into meaningful action. Then we've got My Name Is, which is all about getting each other's names correct. And we collaborated with Edelman and we reached 1.7 billion people through the phonetic My Name Is tool. We think all organizations, like the pronouns, should get people to phonetically or have a sound bar for their names. We've got Safe Space Plus, which enables brave conversations, uncomfortable discussions, and drives meaningful change. And that is a link, especially with networks and senior leaders. Please do go onto our website to find out more about this. And the next slide, please. The 5-day challenge, a solution which was launched during Race Equality Week 2023. It includes a series of eye-opener questions, videos, and resources to both enable and encourage change. It sounds a lot, but it's basically made up of 5 challenges that each take just 5 minutes over 5 days. So it's all really accessible, bite-sized, and get lots of organizations engaged. We had over 1,000 organizations engaged on that one. Listen to our community. We're delighted to confirm that version 2 is in production and will be available later this autumn. If you haven't used version 1 yet, and there's no harm in doing it again, it's a really good tool for Black History Month, which we know is just around the corner. Next slide. We provide all these tools, how to do it right guides and workshops and events like today, free for individuals. So this removes the barriers you may face in tackling race inequality in your organizations. Next slide. Crucially, they all focus and are built to make a difference and impact. So it's not activity, they have to make a difference. And as you can see on screen, the difference it's making for organizations in tackling race inequality. We're also asked, can we provide facilitators for safe space and tea break? And again, if you or you know someone that could be a good facilitator, you may have got something externally, please let us know, because we can provide more support for organizations like that. The opportunity is at the end. There's a poll at the end where we'll ask for that. Next slide, please. All of this is not possible without financial support of our key funding partners. A huge thank you to key partners Green Park and Lloyd's of London, who also power Race Equality Week. Also, a big thank you to co-founder Collaboratory and a lifetime visionary partner BT, and other partners Auto Trader, HS2, Edelman, and Network Rail. Their support means we can run Race Equality Week and that you as change makers can access all of these other resources for free. But it's not sustainable without ongoing funds. If you'd like to find out more how you can partner, support, or even marketing opportunities, or make a donation, please do and get in touch. My phone's 24/7, 365, Christmas Day, Eid, Diwali, it's available for them calls. Next slide, please. Before we start, we'd like to do a State of the Nation poll. So if you can just take part in that, that'd be fantastic. And we will share the results with you all later. So if we can launch the poll, please, that'd be great. Thank you. Thank you for filling out the poll. And as we can see, the majority here identify as ethnically diverse or appropriate equivalent. That's 53%, 47% are allies. Question 2. What role do you play in your organization? 33%, so 1 in 3 use senior leaders, so that's fantastic. 13% HR, 26% D&I, 18% are race network members, 16% race network leads, and then there's 20% other, so it's good to have a whole mix across an organization. Question 3, how is your organization addressing race inequality? So 33%, so that's 1 in 3, focus on action, not just words. So that leaves 67% not focusing on action. 52% says talks and does a little bit of action. And then it's a further 12% just talks, does very little, or does nothing. So we still have some way to go. Question 4. Do you feel your senior leaders and managers are committed to tackling race inequality, a key focus of today's event? So 45%, so nearly half of you saying yes, which is great. 50% a little but not enough, so we want to get that 50% up. And then only 4% saying no, so that's positive. Question 5. Are your senior leaders and managers making an impact in tackling race inequality? So it's all about impact, which is our key focus. So 25% are saying yes. So where we had 45% said their managers are committed and their leaders, only 25% are saying yes, they're making an impact. 53% saying a little but not enough. And then 15% are actually saying their leaders and managers are not making an impact. And then 7% not sure. Question 6. Is your organisation taking part in East and Southeast Asian Heritage Month 2023? And I think it reflects how that community feels in the workplace. Only 26% said yes. Hence why we want to put more emphasis and give a greater profile to that community. Does your race network This is question 7. Collaborate with other employee resource groups to drive change. So regularly is 30%, so 1 in 3. That's really positive. And on occasions, 39%. So we could say 69% are engaging with them, and we can learn from each other, which is fantastic. Question 8. Do you feel your race network has influence in your organisation? A good amount or a great deal is 30%. So that's nearly 1 in 3. And then it's 20% a little, 24% not enough, 6% not at all, and then 12% saying they're not sure. Question 9. How often do you believe microaggressions occur in your organisation? Happens daily, happens a lot, and happens quite often is 44%. So nearly half saying that. Happens occasionally, 23%. And then we have 8% saying happens rarely, and 23%, so that's nearly 1 in 4 of us, not sure. So I think that can unearth a lot of questions. The final question, when heard, how often are racial microaggressions called out or questioned by colleagues? Regularly, 3%, quite often 6%. Occasionally, hardly ever, and never, 58%. And then 32% are saying not sure. So the regular and quite often is only 9%, which is leaving close to 90% where it is not typically called out or questioned. Hence, our next solution will help tackle this. Thank you all for that, and on to the next part of today's event. Okay, thank you so much for that, and that really helps us build tools. And we got one to talk about next week as well. Okay, thank you all for that. That's brilliant. Okay, I've ended the poll, and I said we will share these results with yourselves all later. Can close that. Okay, brilliant. Thank you. Okay, okay. So now on to the main theme for today: the power of leaders in driving real change. Leaders have the power, position, privilege, and influence to drive change. But the feedback we often hear is that when it comes to D&I or race, generally it's not a priority, especially when it's race related. So let's kick it off. Is your leader committed? Bingo. Okay, so have a look at I'm going to read these things through you and think how many of the following do your leaders do? The first one, ducking out of D&I meetings early after they've given maybe an introduction, hence not staying to learn and understand the issues being covered or showing their interest. So, tick that or not. Not doing enough to recognize, support, and reward colleagues working in D&I, and whether full-time or part-time or part of an ERG group or a race network. So not doing enough to recognize, support, and reward them colleagues. Do your leaders do that? Asking to be kept in the loop, but not following up or being proactive about D&I in the workplace. Fourth one, not being able to talk openly about D&I subjects without having a script written by someone else. Next one, may focus on the easy issues like gender, but avoid others, especially race. Next one, not walking the talk when it comes to their own recruitment, promotion, and development practices. So not walking the talk when it comes to their own recruitment, promotion, development practices. So not getting enough diversity in them areas. And then not investing adequate funds, capacity, and resources to enable impact. So we know many D&I leads or race networks, are underfunded or have no funds at all. Okay, so that was bingo. So just for something very different. This is the first time we've done this. What we're just going to ask you to do, if you could just go into the chat, and after of them 7 things, if you can remember or count your ticks, how many do you do? It'd just be quite good to get a sense of how many comes up there. So we'll give you like 10 to 15 seconds just to put a number in the chat, and then we can see how that goes. So how many of them is it common? So we see 3, 6, 7, 1, 6, 4, 6, 3, 1, 3, 4. Brilliant. Okay, so 3 and 4, it seems quite common. 7, so obviously in them organizations, leaders really aren't walking the walk sort of thing. Fantastic. Thank you for that. Okay, next slide, please. In a recent poll with the Race Equality Matter community, 50% said their leaders are committed to tackling race inequality. Next slide. However, only 31%, and I think today it was about 30%, said their leaders and managers are comfortable talking about race, and that's a big barrier for progress. Next slide. And only 34% said their leaders are playing a key part when it comes to tackling race inequality. You know, they've got so much power to create the change, but they're only 34% are playing a key part. Next slide. This could be reflected from a poll of over 1,000 people where only 4.3% of them said their organizations are doing really well when it comes to tackling race inequality. 29% said fairly well. So that leaves nearly 70% not doing enough. And I guess we're 3 years on from the moment in 2020 when organizations and leaders say we're going to do more. When leaders make a personal commitment and make other leaders and managers accountable to drive impactful action to tackle race inequality from the top down, it makes a real difference. Therefore, I'm delighted to introduce you to someone who's experienced this at first hand, our first speaker. So a big hello to Samuel Ubanatu. Hello, Samuel. If we can put a spotlight on Samuel, that'd be great. Samuel's from the NHS Business Services Authority, which is an arm's length body of the Department of Health, delivering a range of national services to NHS organisations, contractors, patients, and the public. Samuel's also the co-chair of their BAME colleague network. The network feeds into the wider diversity and inclusion strategy, helping to underpin and support the aims and objectives of the organisation. He's also a member of a shadow board, which offers aspiring leaders the opportunity to develop potential. We'll touch upon that later. Hello, Samuel.
Hello, Javed.
Yeah, good. We can hear you. That's important. Thank you. So the first question, how important or crucial do you think it is for leadership support in tackling race inequality?
Thank you, Javed. Indeed, it's really very important, and leadership support is highly important in tackling race inequality in the workplace because this establish the vision, the strategy, and the direction of travel of the business. And also, for race equality to thrive within the workplace, leaders need to be intentional about the programs and the support they put in place, and also make sure that they monitor the execution of those programs and their progress. We've seen this within my organization in the past few years, and leaders have actively and proactively supported many impactful programs and have which have improved the diversity and inclusion journey within our organization, and also our course towards race equality, of which these programs I'll speak more in time to come.
Thank you. So can you just tell us about a leader that you see make a difference, and what did they do?
Well, my CEO, Michael Brody, is a very great example of that. He has shown support to the people from diverse backgrounds, people from race networks and also equality networks. And I first met him when he joined the organization far back, I think late 2019. And it was in a sort of a working group that wanted to look at how our colleagues are employed and what we can do to make changes towards that. And he was really keen to listen to colleagues from diverse background, and he was, not just that he listened to them, but we found out that he also took away all the feedback that he got, from those sessions and acted on it. He genuinely built relationship, or have continuously built relationship with colleagues from different backgrounds, and wants to understand their lived experiences and also apply that in whatever decision he makes. He has shown to be very empathetic. He's very supportive in dealing with issues. And even if an issue arises and he's made aware of it, he's committed to ensuring that, those issues are resolved well to the best, possible time. And also he has supported and championed programs, that have promoted our commitment to race equality.
Thank you. And I remember when we chatted, you mentioned sometimes he spends like an hour with you. So again, a CEO to spend time with the community or people that they don't normally mix with is quite powerful. So that's great. You mentioned about some of the programs. Can you just introduce them to us, please?
We've had loads of programs put in place, for the past few years, but there are some very impactful ones, and for which one of them is diverse interview panels. So the organization generally reviewed a diversity and inclusion report, and it has shown that, or it was shown that there was a drop off, in the proportion of BIM applicants, for example, in the shortlisting and interview stages, and so they put this particular program in place to be able to checkmate, to ensure that there's diverse people within the interview panel, and also to support right from shortlisting till an offer is made. So, and what we found out about this is that it improved our recruitment, and ensured that there was diverse opinion when it comes to making decision in recruitment. And also that commitment improved our progression of BIM colleagues within the organization. Then we also implemented shadow board, of which I'm one of the members. The shadow board mirrors the NHS-BSA board. It's made up of representatives from equality networks or equality groups. And we usually meet like a day before the main board to review and challenge any constructively challenge any decisions that needs to be made by the board, and also give feedback to board agenda items. After the shadow board members meet, they nominate 2 people within that shadow board to go to the main board to share with the board our ideas and our resolutions from the board items. And it also provides us an opportunity, to proactively address underrepresentation that exists within the equality groups, and also in senior leadership level. It has also helped to ensure that there's diverse range of perspective, and provided the board with great diversity around their decision making. Then we've also implemented the BIM leadership program, which sort of emanated after certain discussion, both at the board, the shadow board, and also with other colleague teams or colleague experience team within the organization. This was like a program that gave colleagues from the BIM, Black, Asian, and other ethnic minority groups, the opportunity to do secondment in any area of their choice within the organization. And it was aimed to make sure that colleagues kind of build the resilience and the leadership qualities they need to be able to thrive in their roles. It was also introduced, to help coach them to be able to coach others as well, to be able to give them the confidence they need to be able to, be impactful and, progress in their career. And also to undertake opportunities to work on projects they wouldn't have, worked on before. And this actually, showed to be very successful. We've had about 3 cohorts of that, or 2 cohorts of that, and the 3rd cohort is about to be rolled out, and it's been shown to be very successful. Then we'll have reciprocal mentoring as well. The reciprocal mentoring, is a program that was set up to have colleagues, be paired with a senior leader. And then the senior leader will mentor the colleague, and also the colleague will also mentor the senior leader. So there's sort of, sharing of ideas. The senior leader will learn from whether it's a junior colleague or even a senior colleague as well, but, not part of the leadership team, to kind of understand their lived experience, understand how they can be able to make better decisions in their roles. And also the junior colleague will also learn from the senior leader and be able to kind of gain the confidence they need to be able to thrive and progress within the organization. We also have Let's Talk About Race. This is a rich learning experience, to sort of shed light on race awareness and racism, and also race inclusion, where we can be able to share our experiences and all that with with their team manager. So almost everyone within the organization participated in this program, and it was so successful that colleagues within the organization showed, their learnings, and it has improved the culture of the organization and has continued to improve things when it comes to race equality.
Brilliant. Thanks so much. I think I love the idea of the shadow board. I think I've only heard about one other organization doing that, and I think that more should look at it. And then also, I think reciprocal mentoring, we're seeing it does make a real difference on that. But these are fantastic programs which have been championed and supported by the senior leadership team. I guess our whole thing is all about impact. What difference do you think this has all made to your ethnically diverse colleagues?
It has made loads of difference, Javed, because first of all, the networks that were created to help colleagues sort of gave them that, it made colleagues to kind of bring their best selves to work. And also this program that we've implemented over the years, it has given colleagues the confidence to be able to bring their best selves to work, and also has created safe space for colleagues to network, share ideas, develop themselves, and even progress within the organization. It has also educated other colleagues, when it comes to culture and practices of others, and also working with, colleagues from the diverse background from the BIM network has helped the organization to build greater BIM visibility and also role models across the organization.
Brilliant. And what difference has this made to you?
To be fair, it has made an ample difference to me because I'm a first generation immigrant in the UK, and possibly I would have or wouldn't have been known if not because of my involvement, with the course I've chosen around making sure that I promote and champion diversity and inclusion within my organization, and also subsequently being appointed as member of the shadow board. It has given me that confidence to be able to bring my best self to work. It has given me that opportunity to be able to collaborate with different senior leaders within the organization and other colleagues within different areas of which I wouldn't have worked with, at any point in time in the organization. And also, I will highly recommend anyone in this call, anybody that will listen to this recording, that just choose a course, and get committed to it and work on it passionately, and make sure that you support race equality, whether it's your work or at home.
Brilliant, thank you. And I remember something you said, Samuel, that if you hadn't what you've gone through in your organization, you wouldn't be speaking today if you hadn't been built like that. And that's great. It's fantastic. I think what is also interesting, there's a report out, I think is this week, by EY about belonging report, and how many the percentage of people, if you're different, don't feel they can be their true selves. And you've just said in your organization, people can be their true selves or bring their whole selves to work, which is Absolutely. Fantastic. So real inspiration, Samuel. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, we'd now like to go into our first breakout session and share your ideas with each other. Sam, if we could do most probably 26 groups, if that's okay. This discussion is, what do leaders do to make a meaningful impact on tackling inequality? So what do leaders do to make a meaningful impact on tackling inequality? So you go into a breakout group, you'll have 8 minutes, so it's quite quick. We'll also give you a 1 minute warning. We recommend you don't spend time introducing yourselves because that'll use up your 8 minutes. We know some of you may feel uncomfortable going to a breakout session, so feel free not to do so. And others may want to keep their camera off, so we appreciate that. The more that can go to the breakout session, you learn from each other, and you don't all have to contribute. You can listen. So there's also a link if you need captions now. So what you'll do, you'll go in there for 8 minutes. Samuel and Neetu may join. They're not there to chair. They're there to, like yourself, to listen and learn from each other. So and I might pop into one group as well, again, just to listen. So yeah, 8 minutes now, Sam. Thank you. Can we just ask you all now to put in the chat thoughts, experience, and ideas of what leaders do or should do to help tackle race inequality? So just put your ideas in there. And I said, what we'll do is we'll collate all this and create an insights and ideas tool or report for you all to have. So again, you can look through it, how you can do it. So if you can all do that, that'd be fantastic. And I appreciate some of you may not have anything to put in there, but even if from experience, but if you've got a thought, an idea what leaders should be doing, because we kind of know what people can do to make a difference. I said, when we collate this, it will be anonymous. So we'll have everyone's ideas, but it will be anonymous. Okay, some great stuff coming there. Funding and money. I think funding is I think one organization I've heard of, they're now going to pay Race Network leader for part of their role. which is fantastic, because obviously it's quite a side job for many people. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Next slide, please. Building on from Race Equality Week 2023, the theme of It's Everyone's Business, the focus of Race Equality Week 2024 will be everyone committed to take action to drive change for race equality. So we hope you have it in your diary for the 5th to 11th November. We have our Get Ready for Race Equality Week event next Thursday on the 21st, where we'll be announcing the theme for Race Equality 2024 and a couple of new solutions. Okay, but we want to share something with you in advance. One of the themed events will be centered around leaders, themed Leading the Change. We know that leaders buy-in is crucial to tackle race inequality, and without it won't happen, which I heard in my group and seen in the chat. There we want to create an event, the first of its kind, where we convene leaders with race networks and race champions and change makers. So we would like to get everyone in the Race Equality Matter community to bring along a leader or two to this special event. It's an ally and leader with influence in your organization. It could be your race network sponsor, an ExCo member, a trustee, CEO, a director, basically someone that has influence. It will be a virtual event, and it will only require them to support it for between an hour and a half during Race Equality Week. So if they're going to do one big thing for Race Equality Week, it could be this. So how do we make this event a bit of a game changer? This is where we need your input. The thinking is to create a unique opportunity for interaction, engagement, and learning between you, the change makers, and leaders from across sectors throughout the UK and beyond. I guess it's a bit like Samuel saying, reciprocal mentoring, really. So this will be done through 3 key virtual interactive collaborative discussion groups, similar to the one we just had now, and it'll be made up with a mix of leaders and change makers from different organizations. So you'll be with leaders from different organizations. The first breakout session is a chance for change makers to learn. The leaders will provide some career guidance and share tips and the key skills that they've built to progress in their careers and what you can do to succeed. Many of us will not have had the contacts or networks or backgrounds to have this guidance from those at the top. The second breakout would be the leaders will share what they are doing to enable their organizations to tackle race inequality. So how are leaders making an impact in their organizations? And then the third breakout session is a chance for the leaders to learn and hear the voice of the community. This is when the community will share with the leaders what they'd like to see from leaders to support tackling race inequality. So we'll all learn from both sides on this. That's the idea. What I'd like us to do now is go into another small breakout session where you'll be with different people to share your thoughts about this concept, this idea. So you'll have 8 minutes, as the time will go fast. Again, there's a link here for captions. Again, you don't have to join a session, but the more the merrier. And if you have to have your camera off, that's fine, but seeing happy smiley faces is nice. So how and what would encourage your leaders to attend this event during Race Equality Week? Yeah. So what would encourage your leaders to attend this? Because we know leaders quite often avoid this. We said earlier about having a script or something. So if you can go into the group, what's thoughts about the concept and how it would encourage your leaders? Because I think we've got a few hundred people here today. Imagine if you all brought a leader, that would be quite a powerful event. Okay, so your 8 minutes will start now. If you go to your groups, that'd be fantastic. Thank you. Again, another interesting discussion. Some finding it possibly easy, some finding it a bit challenging. Some saying, having outside influencers like membership bodies or governing bodies to encourage it, which is great. So what we'd like you to do again is throw in the chat ways, thoughts, and ideas that would encourage leaders to attend this event during Race Equality Week. So again, we'll collate this and then share it with you. And there might be some really good tips that you could use to encourage your leaders. So again, in the chat, what would encourage your leaders, key people of influence, to attend this event during Race Equality Week? More lead time and information, what it is. So yeah, hopefully we'll have the information within a month. So they'll have 4 months notice. Lead time and write up. Yeah. Plenty of notice. I agree that we have had one CEO that's actually told their PA to move their diary around so they can be available for this event, which is fantastic. And someone in our group said something I thought really interesting. We shouldn't be going to the leaders to attend the event. They should be coming to us and say, look, I've heard about this. how do I sign up sort of thing, which I think is a really good showing their real commitment. So thank you for that. So keep adding to this, and I said we will collate it and share it with everyone anonymously. So I can definitely see clear information and a notice period is it will be helpful. So thank you for that. Okay. So before we go into our final collaboration, we're going to hear from our next speaker, Neetu Khosla from Amey, who are Race Equality Matters Trailblazer. Amey are a leading provider of full life cycle engineering, operations and decarbonisation solutions for transport infrastructure and complex facilities. Neetu started out about 6 years ago as an executive assistant to the leadership team, but with a passion for diversity and inclusion, she recently moved into the role of social value manager. Can we have the spotlight on Neetu, please? Thank you. Neetu is also the chair of the Multicultural Affinity Group Committee, which he sees as a great opportunity to provide and really drive change. And we had a few meetings with her and a director, and you can definitely sort of see it happening. So a huge welcome, Neetu. Can we hear you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, all very good. Thank you very much. So, like we asked Samuel, how important or crucial is leadership support in tackling race inequality?
Well, personally, I think it's really important that we lead from the top, as this kind of encourages good behaviours throughout the organisation. Amey has actually a zero tolerance on bad behaviour. We have a very robust escalation process, whistleblowing, or through our safe space communities. Our leaders sort of set the tone and the culture. For example, for our junior members, if they see the leaders being able to actively call things out, then that sort of gives them the confidence to be able to do the same.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. I think your tone and culture, this leading by example, this is what success is. Yeah, absolutely. What are the key things that your leaders do that make an impact?
We've done quite a bit here at Amey, and I'm quite proud of them, actually. There is actual visible adoption and support of our strategy, which includes well-being and inclusion, and race does come under that. And I know somewhere along the line we're kind of being hidden under inclusion or maybe social value. But I think everybody knows that they need to up their game in this area to raise people of color. So you almost kind of want to make it business as usual. They actively support campaigns, events, initiatives, policies. We're launching our Embracing Difference campaign in National Inclusion Week, which we're extending to National Inclusion Month. Our Transport Infrastructure Business Unit will be offering training on respect and fairness. Plus, we've designed in our Consulting Business Unit an interactive, active allyship workshop. Dates have been scheduled in for that for the end of 2024. We're also doing lunch and learns with our Multicultural Affinity Group, where we'll be bringing in a dish from our areas and talking about food and culture and share stories. I always find that food is a great talking point to break the ice. So yeah, really busy.
Okay. And so what does this look like in reality?
Do you mean by the leadership team and what they do? So the leadership teams are always helping to promote anything our affinity groups are involved with on Yammer, LinkedIn, Twitter. Those with protected characteristics, especially with race, feel that the leaders are generally driving for an inclusive and belonging organization. Recently, for example, we've designed and implemented a multicultural leadership program, which is based on our award-winning Women at Amey leadership program. It's for 18 months for bands A to D. Bands A and B are our frontline staff, cleaners, porters, front of house, etc. And our C's and D's are operational, enabling. The program closes the skills gap, which holds people back. It gives the participants the chance on building on their confidence, networking, having a mentor, insight sessions, etc., etc. And then our C's and D's will have a more in-depth, where they'll have the same insight, skills for, but more for leadership skills and managing a P&L, commercial, etc. Our launch was really successful. Our CEO, Chief People Officer, and our comms director, who is a lady, it was really good to have her there as well, attended and showed their support by opening the program. Our Chief People Officer and comms director, they stayed the whole day and participated in all the workshops. And again, that's really key, to be seen as you know, to do as they say. It showed the 33 participants that Amey's leadership commitment in developing diverse talent. Our MDs, our people directors, all of our teams are continuously visiting sites and locations throughout the whole of the UK to engage with our employees and hear their challenges and to take action on what they learn. And they're always sort of driving the message for us of our importance of diversity. We're significantly trying to increase the diverse representation at all levels. We have diverse interview panels, we have mentoring and reverse mentoring. And like Samuel, we have a shadow board as well that go up to our ELTs and share ideas, and it's key to have that representation there too. So, you know, from maybe junior staff who has that innovative idea that leads to your growth.
So it definitely sounds like, you know, you kind of remove the barriers or the blockages for progress, especially the C and ABCD training, fast track thing. I think the other thing is, which one of the breakout sessions I've had is quite often leaders listen or engage but don't take action, but clearly saying they absorb what reflects what's been said and then take action, which is great. So what impact have you seen this has had on your peers and yourself?
Well, for myself, I've been massively supported throughout my career at Amey. They're now supporting me with a qualification. My peers have supported me throughout my journey. My Chief People Officer and I meet once a week, and he's heavily involved in my development. I'm still not saying, as an industry as a whole, we have got work to do. We continuously are learning and trying to drive that positive change. But I always say, and I go back to it all the time, that it's one starfish at a time. We can't do it all, you know, overnight. And yeah, we've got some work to do in the industry as a whole. Okay, but as a business, I'm really, really quite proud of what we're doing today.
Yep. Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing that, Neetu. That's great. Brilliant. Okay, so we're going to go to our last collaboration group. As mentioned earlier about this event, you know, we want leadership to be at the heart of Race Equality Matters, Race Equality Week, sorry. So what we'd like your insights is to help us plan this. So this next discussion is, what questions would you like to ask the leaders? So if there were all these leaders coming across the event, what sort of questions would you like them to be able to answer? And there may be other ways we can do this as well. So we're going to let you go into groups for about maybe just 6 minutes for this one. And then just talk about yourselves, the sort of questions that would be really good to hear from leaders. Okay, so if you can go into that group, that'll be fantastic. Sam, if you could do that, thank you. So I think or hope in the background is co-founder and chair of Race Equality Matters, Raj Tulsiani. So Raj, if you're here, can I hear your voice? And I can hand over to you in a sec. In the meantime, if people can just put their questions in the chat, what they'd like to ask leaders. Again, this is something we might throw out to some leaders and lead up to Race Equality Week. So what sort of questions would you like to know from leaders or for them to answer? And this is a really open thing. Yeah.
Great, Raj, thank you. Thanks, Jarvid.
Okay. Okay. So let's give people 30 seconds for this, and then it's over to yourself. Yeah, Sam, if you can put the next slide up, please.
So before we go on to our poll, we wanted to tell you about a couple of exciting new solutions that we'll be launching. The first, for those of you who are interested in generative AI, is a Green Park generative AI diversity coach. So if you're an organisation interested in trialling that, it's at a stage where it can be used, do contact me. And the second will be a product for Race Equality Week. You're going to be the first people to hear about it. So we're collaborating with a Genius X technology officer who's behind the Trainline app and looking to launch a new tool to determine how inclusive and belonging your organisation is. As we know, what measure tends to get done. The key to this is being able to analyse data and then have the skill to do something with that analysis. The tool we're developing will be affordable to enable more organisations to be able to access and benefit from it. Funds raised will go through to supporting our ongoing work. And we think it's a great solution, as so many organisations don't or are unable to gather diversity and inclusion data to help them, or can't trust the validity of the data that they get to make informed decisions when it comes to tackling inequalities and disparities within their organisation. We're in the final stages and are looking for a limited number of early adopters to pilot the new platforms with. If your organisation would be interested, please let myself, Javed, or the team know in the poll that's coming up now. It will be free for pilot organisations. Also, next slide, please. Also, please do take a look at our jobs board to support organisations reach more diverse talent pools. For the 33% of people who are on this chat who are senior leaders, perhaps this is something you can suggest to your HR directors and directors of resourcing. The results have been good and the cost is manageable. To support organisations, we're also looking to offer an exclusive 40% Black History Month discount. I know we're ethnic minorities all year round, and there's a mixed feeling about Black History Month, but this is an offer that does expire at the end of October. And, you know, there's some good things that are happening in Black History Month, as we'll talk about in other meetings. But, you know, do get behind it in your organisation. And again, if you're a senior leader, you're not quite sure, this really does take away a bit of a discount, giving you a discounted try before you buy for REM jobs packages. So now on to the final poll. Sam, if you'd be kind enough to launch that for us, we'll share the results in the event recording.
Thank you all for taking part in the poll for today's event. So what's fantastic to see, 95% of you would recommend today's event to others. So huge thank you to you all for contributing towards this, but then also to our wonderful speakers, Samuel and Neetu. Question 2, did you learn anything new today? And this is really important. You know, we go to so many events where we're just hearing the same old thing, but 87% of you felt you learnt something new today. And this leads to question 3, which is all about taking action. Did you hear or learn anything that you will use? And that's a fantastic 84% of you saying that. So that is quite inspiring for us. And again, thank you all for your contribution and to the speakers. Question 4. Do you think the Bring Along a Leader event is a good idea? So 87% saying yes, no one saying no, and we appreciate 13% saying not sure. We'd like to hear from you to how to, I guess, convince you that it is worth doing. Question 5. Do you think the idea to have breakout sessions during Race Equality Week to mix leaders with change makers will be good? Fantastic 85% think it's a good or a great idea. 10% think it's okay and 4% not at all. But for 85% to think it's a good or great idea gives us real hope for this event. So thank you. Question 6. Do you think leaders from your organisation will share what they're doing to tackle race inequality and also their career tips at the Bring Along a Leader event? Fantastic to see 48%, so nearly 1 in 2 of you think they would attend and share. And again, that is something we weren't pleasantly surprised how high that is. We appreciate 6% that they would attend but not want to share, and only 9% not likely to attend. That huge percentage, 38%, is in the not sure. And again, I guess this is where we need to communicate and help you work out how to get your senior leaders along. Question 7. Do you have a leader that makes a difference in tackling race inequality that you think could like to speak at Race Equality event or a future Race Network Leaders event? So 22%, so roughly 1 in 4 saying yes, 23% saying no, and then 55%, so just over half, not sure. So we'll be in touch with those that think they could, which will be brilliant, because it's always great to have new voices and those that are making a difference. Question 8. Would your organisation like to pilot the new Race Equality Matter inclusion and belonging tool for free? So 28% of you saying yes, 69% say not sure, and only 2% say no. So what we'll do is we'll drop a line of information so you can decide whether you want to participate. Question 9. Why do you think colleagues don't intervene when they see or hear a microaggression being said to an ethnically diverse colleague? So the highest one here is 68% said they lack confidence and courage. I think last time we did this poll, it's 77%. So it's high, this lack of confidence and courage. And what is surprising is 41% who believe they don't know what microaggressions are. So there's a real education piece to be done here. 49%, so nearly half of you, think colleagues don't know what to say. And then 40% said they don't know how to. There is this feeling that 15% think people don't want to be in a minority, and a further 35% don't want to stand out. And then a further 35% fear of consequence for employer managers. So that's 1 in 3 of us think colleagues don't speak up because of fear of consequence in their organisation, which I guess says a lot about the culture of the organisation and I guess commitment to zero tolerance. Final question, question 10. Which of the Race Equality Matter activities or opportunities would be of interest? The highest is 48% of you finding out more about the Race Equality Matters Trailblazers. We'll be in touch. And then 20% finding out more about being a Race Equality Matter Trailblazer judge. 33% think you might have be a facilitator for a safe space or tea break, and then 17% think you could recommend someone that could help us, so we'll be in touch with that. Fantastic. And then 23%, so roughly 1 in 4, finding out more about Race Equality Matter, 40% jobs board discount, and then 25% inputting into future Race Equality Matter solutions insights. So again, we'll be in touch with you all with that. So thank you all for participating in this, and this helps us grow and build our activities going forward to provide you with the support and help you need. So thank you.
Don't miss the opportunity to apply for the next round of Trailblazers. It closes on the 23rd of October, and there's a link to the chat in the forum. Here are some accredited trailblazing organisations that are making an impact and getting feedback on the impact that they're making from us. How's your sector doing? With a couple of events coming up also, so please do register. As you can see there, we've got some stuff coming up for Race Equality Week. Plenty of time, plenty of opportunity to collaborate and create something in your organisation that adds value. So a huge thank you to our partners and sponsors for everything that they do. If your organisation would like to donate or sponsor future events or become a marketing partner, please do get in touch. We're working on our membership offer as we speak. And this is really to just help us continue doing what we're doing. We also want to say a big thanks to those organisations that have donated recently. We appreciate every penny. And we know that the results often start with the Race Network leads recommending us for donations and to provide services that help momentum or tackle inertia. And of course, a big thank you to today's wonderful expert panelists, Neetu and Samuel. Do sign up to our website if you haven't already registered, so you can stay up to date. There's a Green Park Leadership and Diversity Conference next week, which is free. Please do utilise that. Some fantastic speakers and great topics around faith and leadership, artificial intelligence, why we're failing at intersection and inclusion, all sorts of things like that available at the Green Park website. And a huge thank you to you all for giving your time, attending and participating with us today. We look forward to hearing from you soon. And for those of you taking part in the East and Southeast Asian Heritage Month, Black History Month next month, please let us help you if we can. Thanks very much, Javid. Once again, beautifully handled.
No, thank you. Actually, just because the first time ever, we're a minute ahead, and that's supposed to be Raj helping out there. Just sharing some of the results. So Raj did say 95% would recommend today's event to others. So again, over the 90%. So thank you to you all, and then also the speakers. Did you learn anything new? 87%. But more importantly, is there anything you'd look to use that you learnt and that's 84%. So again, that's the speakers and you're helping each other. What do you think about the Bring a Leader event? 87% think it's a good idea, which is brilliant. No one's saying it's not, and 13% not sure. We appreciate that, and I guess it'd be good to know how to understand what will make it a yes. Do you think mixing leaders with change makers would be good? So good idea and a great idea is, if my right math is right, 85%. So good and great idea, 85%. With your leaders are 10, so only 9% said not likely to attend and 38% not sure. But those that would share and attend is 48%. So half of you think your leaders will come and share and attend, which is a really good position. I wanted over 50%, so let's see. Do you have a leader that could talk at a future event? And 22% you think you can, and we will reach out to you. Would you like to pilot the race coordinators inclusion belonging tool for free to 38%, and we'll also send the information of the AI tool that Raj mentioned about Green Park and the Green Park conference. And why do you think your colleagues don't intervene when they hear microaggressions? So 41% think they don't know what microaggressions are, which is, yeah, I guess it's an education piece there. Lack of confidence and courage is 68%. Don't know what to say, 49%, and we've got a solution for that. Next week we'll be sharing. And then, as you can see here, please, number 10, please indicate which may be of interest. And it's 48% finding out about trailblazers, 25% of you input into race equality about solution insights, and we will reach out to you when there's opportunities to be part of the development teams for that. So thank you all, like Raj says, look after yourselves, take care, look after each other. And it was a real pleasure. Thank you for all those that contributed and the groups I was in. Yeah, have a good afternoon. Look after yourself.